Melissa, I'm so excited that you're here to share a little bit more background, especially as teachers and counselors are implementing building resilience and strengthening faith for the first time. So could you share a little bit about the framework that we've created called the Way of the Heart? What does that look like and what does that mean? How would teachers implement that?
Yes, the Way of the Heart is a beautiful way to incorporate emotional awareness with our faith, and using our faith to be able to help us better understand our emotions. And so emotional awareness is more than just knowing how we're thinking and feeling, but it has to do with how do we process that and how do we use that information to help us navigate, move through the world. And so when we can lean on our faith and to include God in our emotions, helping us to understand them, it offers a deeper understanding and a more ways for us to kind of make decisions and problem solve when we're including God and his teachings. So the Way of the Heart begins with helping students identify where they're at, what they're feeling. And we use colors and icons to help begin the process. And then it evolves into really understanding what those colors and icons represent in regards to we look at it at 4 different emotional states. And with those 4 different emotional states, we can tap into scripture readings that helps us better understand them, faith lessons, the teachings that we get from the scripture readings and God's teachings, as well as how does he want us to respond to these emotions. We always have to remind ourselves that God created emotions for information for us to better understand ourselves and to communicate with him. He wants to be a part of it.
What an important lesson for kids to learn at such a young age. I know a lot of time and effort has been put into the framework, so let's just walk through each of the emotions, and I'll share, the color and the icon. If you could fill in then kind of what that means for us. So I know the first one is blue, and it's the waters of stillness.
Yes, the waters of stillness. So that's when we are feeling sad, tired, lonely, kind of blah, And so we have to remind ourselves that those feelings aren't bad, okay? And feelings really aren't good or bad, right or wrong. They just are. And so we can look at a variety of different Bible verses that remind us that God is there to comfort us, that it's okay to be sad. It's not a bad thing. And to better understand why we feel sad and what that sadness has to teach us. If we're tired and lonely, what is it that we need? How can we nurture ourselves?
So the message there is God comforts me.
Yes.
If I'm blue, if I'm at the waters of stillness, God is right there to comfort me.
Right. And he offers us peace and rest.
I love that. How about green, the garden of grace?
Yeah, this is one that I'm always working on. I always want to be calm and content and focused. So that's a good place to be. And when we're there, to be able to express our gratitude and appreciation and recognizing that God can help sustain us there. And there's a lot of Bible verses that offer that, reinforces that and offers that encouragement.
So what would that look like in the classroom as we're walking through these? If you're a teacher of a younger grade, maybe you're just using the colors initially. What does that look like? I know we've got some activities that build into that as well.
Well, I think a lot of the activities is helping them recognize how to maintain that wellness and nurture that wellness. So helping them identify, what do I need at this moment? What's helpful? What's not helpful? Who are supportive people? Who are not supportive people? How to establish boundaries that are let me know what's okay and what's not okay, what I will put up with, what I won't, tolerate. So there's a lot of different activities, whether they're engaging activities with another student to have discussion about, or some problem solving, some role playing. So a lot of different activities to help integrate what they're learning and putting it into practice.
All right, thank you. Well, let's continue on with yellow, the winds of change.
Yes, we all find ourselves nervous, anxious, excited, restless at times. And so the winds of change, once again, isn't a bad state, emotional state to be in, but it is information for us to kind of ask, to be curious about, hey, what's going on? Why am I here? Why am I finding myself here? And and how can I incorporate God? How can I lean on God to help guide me through this restless time? And once again, there's a lot of scriptures that provides us the comfort and care and the guidance that we need from God in order to work our way through that restlessness, that agitation, that nervousness. We can always pause and pray and lean on God to help us refocus on what we need to do next. There's a lot of things out of our control. So the program and the curriculum helps students look at their scope of control, even from a young age, to recognize what they can and cannot control, and to be able to let go of the things they can't control and take ownership and feel empowered to take control of the things they can.
Great, thank you. And our last is the storm within. I believe it's purple that we have.
Yes, the storm within. Yeah, we're all guilty of it. We get angry, we get frustrated, we can even be fearful, we can be feeling out of control. And so when we're here, once again, is to be able to recognize it, not deny it, not feeling that I shouldn't be angry or I can't be frustrated. It's acknowledging it, but then recognizing that there are appropriate ways to expressing it and releasing it and processing it. So God will protect us, will take care of us, and there's scripture readings that help us better understanding our fears and our worries and our anger, and to be able to regulate those big emotions and to be able to lean on God and have conversation with them to help you feel more in control.
I love that, even for the youngest of children then, to know I might be purple today, but that God is protecting me in that, whether that's fear or it's anger, that the goal is to regain calm, and the way to get there is with Jesus. So I love that. So as we think about the colors and as the kids grow, the icons that go along with it, and even the scripture verses, what does this look like playing out for the teacher, maybe asking the class at the beginning of the day where they're at, where their heart is in the way of the heart? What kind of goals does that give to the teacher, or action plan when she's able to assess where kids are at?
Right, exactly. And that's always the first step. Once the children understand the colors, the icons, and the meanings behind them, giving them opportunities to be able to self-reflect and better understand, okay, where am I today? And then to be able to express it, and being able to say, what is this telling me? What is this? What do I need? And inviting God to be a part of that and say, God, what is the lesson here that I need to learn, or what are my needs? Because He will journey with us through our emotions, and a variety of coping strategies are presented throughout the curriculum that a student can tap into and feel confident in being able to utilize those strategies because they've had practice, and we've created opportunities for them to experience them, so that they can say, okay, this is what color I am, okay, and this is what I need. And this is how I'm going to lean on God. And this is the scripture that's going to provide me that substance to feel strong and be able to navigate what's ever being presented in front of them. And so that they can get to the other side and feel good about the result.
I love so much of this program with the practical tools that go along with this. So quickly, a teacher can assess at the beginning of the day if a child's yellow and the winds have changed. Maybe they just get to hold the pause paddle on their desk just to remind them just to pause in this moment, to reset and refocus that they will get through this moment. Or even if they're in the purple, the storms of renewal, that maybe they need to hug the pillow, maybe that gets to, or they just need a moment like in a reflective space in the classroom, to have the pillow, to hold it, to know that God is with them. Or even I love all of the breathing techniques that you've incorporated. That's something that the teacher can lead the whole class through at the end. So it's not just a story, and it's not just colors. It's an actual flow, a framework to teach children, our students, not only to name their emotions, but what to do with their emotions and how to work through that. How does that look? I'm just thinking of our teacher friends, of our very youngest little friends at the 5 and 6 year old range. What does that look like practically? Really, what can a 5-year-old do? What does that look like?
Right. So as we get older, it's harder and harder for us to learn some of these coping strategies. We can learn them, but when we learn them at a young age, then it becomes automatic, and we don't struggle with trying to tap into some of these coping strategies. They're kind of innate, and we don't have to think about pause. It's automatically our automatic response because we've done it over the years. We learned it as a child. So as a 5-year-old, learning a lot of these, the importance of social, emotional awareness for themselves as well as in other people. Yes, initially, they're not going to fully understand it, but every time we expose it to them, they get a better understanding. So we want to expose it to them at a very young age. And that self-awareness, a lot of times only 5-year-olds can only be aware of themselves. It's hard for them to be aware of other people and other people's needs. But, that introductory to not only self-awareness, but, being aware of others and being able to take other people's perspectives and to be able to recognize that I value, but so do you. And so that mutual respect early on, learning that early on, is instilled in them. So as they get older, they're going to be not only concerned about their needs, but your needs as well. And approaching everything, any conflict that arises, any decision that needs to be made, they're always going to be able to look at it from how does this impact me, but how does it impact you? And desiring the best outcome for both.
Well, on the other end of the spectrum, our middle school friends. So if a school is just implementing for the first year, this is the first time they're exposed to Taylor, her friends, the story. we know if the school does it multiple years in a row, they're building blocks so that they're introduced to Taylor in kindergarten. And then by 8th grade, they've grown with her. They've added all of these skills. What does it look like, though, for a school that's just implementing for the first couple of years and the 8th graders are very newly introduced to these concepts? What help can you offer those middle school teachers? What does this look like for those students?
Right. So ideally, it'd be nice for a child to be able to grow up with Taylor and kind of work through all the different stressors that Taylor has to navigate all through elementary school. But the way the program is designed is that an 8th grader can come in and participate in the curriculum and really not have that previous, involvement in the curriculum prior. Because the way it's designed is that each grade level has identified an area of that they're working on. So in 8th grade, it's on being responsible and making responsible decisions. And so it kind of pulls from what they've already learned and it's enhanced by.
Okay.
Now I'm in 8th grade. So what does this look like for me when I'm in 8th grade? And so they can just jump right in at any grade level and be able to learn about Taylor and how she got to where she is in 8th grade, but not they didn't miss out on anything by not participating in the previous lessons. They can still pick up right where they left off and get a really good understanding of how to make responsible decisions. So program build even though it builds on itself, it creates opportunities for a child to step in and be able to learn new skills.
Great. Well, thank you so much. And it seems like the way of the heart is the heart of building resilience and strengthening faith.
Exactly.